Okay, Rabbi Say. So last week we started talking about Erev Tafshilin, the concept of Achana, preparation for preparing from Yom Tif to a Yom Choil, as well preparing from one day Yom Tif to next day Yom Tif. Let's go back. Let's remind ourselves of everything. Let's go back to the basic Gemara, and we'll discuss it again, and we'll go over different shilas, which is still very negeya for Sukkot and Simchas Torah. Yeah, we're gonna have 2 more time. So the Gemara says, about 10 lines from the top. 10 lines from the top, in the middle of the line, Itmar.
Yeah, you made it with the pen over, right?
No, I didn't. It's from the original. It just starts with the word Savar. Ah, that's good. You make a copy of that. So Itmar, the line starts with Savar. Itmar, it was said, someone who bakes or cooks from Yom Tif for the weekday. Machloikis, Reb Chisda Amar Loik, and Reb Chisda says you get Malkus. It's a Isam and HaTorah. You're making Meichin me Yom Tov L'Chayil, Hachana. Rabba said Ein Loika. We're going to see in a minute why. Rabba also agrees that it's a Isam and HaTorah to bake from Yom Tov L'Chayil. However, Rabba holds of a concept called Hoyil, and because of that, it's not going to be Isam and HaTorah. You're not going to be Loika. The Gemara explains that. Reb Chisda Amar Loik, Reb Chisda said that you get Malkos. Why? Lo yamin Hoyil mikol yerichem chazalei. We don't say the concept that potentially guests could have come and it would have been befitting for guests. Rabba Amar, Rabba said, Ein Loika. Why? I mean Hoyil, we do say Hoyil.
Maybe guests will come.
Meaning like this, right? Rabba held, he agrees with Reb Chisda that there's an Ism and HaTorah to prepare from Yom Tif to Choyil.
Right.
It's also in HaTorah. However, Rabba holds that there's a concept of Kol Hoyil. Since potentially guests could have come today, even though I don't need any more food to eat, maybe I have guests that didn't eat yet the Suda, they're going to be hungry. So when I'm cooking today, even though I have in mind to cook for tomorrow or for tonight, for Choyil,
guests might come.
because guests might come,
You're allowed to.
you're allowed to. You're allowed to, but min HaTorah it's not also. Min HaTorah is not also because Ein Loika, because of the concept of Hoyil. However, Rav Chisda says no. Lo yamin Hoyil. We don't say Hoyil. That maybe guests will come. We don't say that. If you have guests, you have guests. If you don't have guests, we don't say potentially. That's the machlokes between Rabba and Rav Chisda. However, Rabba said to Rav Chisda, Amar Lei. Rabba Rav Chisda. The line starts with Rabba. Amalei Rabba Rav Chisda. Rabba said back to Rav Chisda. Lididach, according to you, the matter that you said Lo yamin Hoyil, that when we do not say the concept of Hoyil. Heyich oifim mi Yom Tov l'Shabbos. I have a problem over here. We know we're allowed to bake from Yom Tov l'Shabbos. We just did it, right? The second day of Rosh Hashanah, we prepared a soup, a cholent, for the next day, the chamin. How do we do this? According to you, Rav Chisda. You tell me this is awesome in HaTorah. Shabbos is not Yom Tif. How did you cook from one day to the next? So the first of Rav Chisda said, Amar Lei Mishnah made Erev Tafshil, because he made an Erev Tafshil. But I asked back Rabba, Mishnah made Erev Tafshil Sharin Isa Deraisa. Erev Tafshil is a takana of Chachamim. It's midrabanan, the concept of Erev Tafshil. How could Erev Tafshil help me to remove the Ism and HaTorah of Achana? So how could that be, Rav Chisda? How is the Erev Tafshil going to help you? So now Rav Chisda explained himself clearly. Amalei said, "Midiraisa tzorchi Shabbos nasim Yom Tov." I hold that min HaTorah you're allowed to cook from Yom Tov l'Choyil. There's no Isser of Hachana. Rashi explains it there why from Yom Tov l'Shabbos, because it's one kedusha. So you can light from Yom Tov to cook from Yom Tov l'Shabbos because it's one kedusha.
How is it from a deoraita? What's psukim?
It doesn't say over here the psukim.
Doesn't say.
No. Because it's called, Rashi explains, we'll see in a second. Rashi says because Shabbos is called Yom Tif. So it's all Yom Tif. Second day Yom Tif you can't cook for one day Yom Tif, second Yom Tif really Choyil. It's really chayil. We know what the kviyas of the chodesh is. It's only one day Yom Tov Min HaTorah. You can't have 2 days Yom Tov Min HaTorah. This that we're in Eretz Yisrael is only one day. This that we're keeping 2 days, maybe because Minig Avisein to be a Deinu, because originally there was a suffix what day it was, because they were Mekadosh Avki and the Kaddish Chodesh, they didn't know when Rish Chodesh was. So one day Yom Tov to the second day Yom Tov is a problem of Yom Tov to Chayil. But Yom Tov to Shabbos, says Rashi, says it's one Kedusha. One Kedusha. So you're allowed to cook. So L'maisa, yeah. L'maisa.
You mean according to Reb Chisda?
So according to Reb Chisda, yeah. According to Reb Chisda, Midiraisa, Tzorech Shabbos Nasim Yom Tov. You don't need an Erev Tashilum for that. That's Min HaTorah. So I don't need the concept of a hoyel. Why do I need the Erev Tashilin? According to Reb Chisda, but Rabbanan who the Gazri Bey. Rabbanan were the ones who made the Gzeira. The line starts with who? Shema Yoim Ru'ayfim Yom Tov Af L'choyel. Someone might feel that I could, if I'm accustomed to cook from Yom Tov to Shabbos, even though it's mutter, because one Kedusha, then people will think, what? This is Yom Tov to Shabbos, 2 separate days. I'm allowed to cook from Yom Tov to Shabbos, I can cook from Yom Tov to Chol, which is awesome in HaTorah. So Chachamim made a Gzeira. This is according to Reb Chisda. The Kiva that Zuchu Rabbanon, since it's because of the Chachamim made this Gzeira. Kiva Zuchu Rabbanon Iruvi Tashil is Le'akeda. Since Chachamim have required that we make an Erev Tashilum. Huh?
So it's a heker, what meaning?
The heker, we have a recognition that reminds us that I'm really not allowed to cook from Yom Tov to Chayil. The only reason why I'm allowed to cook for Shabbos is because I made an Erev Tashilum. So going back again, recap. Achloikis Rabban Reb Chisda, both Rabban Reb Chisda agree that the concept of Achana is an Isim and HaTorah. You're meichin from Yom Tov to Chayil. However, Reb Chisda, Rabba held that is a concept of Hoyel, means since Orchim could have potentially come and I would need food for them, so based on this concept of Hoyel, potentially I can cook food even though I have a mind for Hoyel. Min HaTorah, it's not a problem. Therefore, you're not going to be like it. Obviously, according to Rabbi, if I would cook right before Shkia, and the food would not be ready before Shkia, not going to be good. Even Min HaTorah will be a problem. It's also Min HaTorah because it's not Roy for Orchim. No potential. Even you don't even have the concept of Hoyel for Orchim to eat it. Chisda said, you have to cook it earlier. But according to the Chisda, there is no such a concept of Hoyel. It doesn't matter how early you're cooking. You're cooking it for the weekday, for Choyel, Yechayim Min HaTorah. Yom Tov Shabbos, what do they do? Mela Rabba, he says the same answer. Yom Tov Shabbos really be'etzem is mutter Min HaTorah because you have Hoyel. Cook it early, it's not a problem. Alamai, okay, we have Erev Tashilum because of a separate reason. But according to Reb Chisda, the Gemara says, Rabbi asked Reb Chisda, we don't say Hoyel. How are you allowed to cook for Yom Tov Shabbos? So he said back to Erev Tashilum. To say Erev Tashilum, it's a Takanos Chachamim. How is that going to help from Min HaTorah? How is that going to help us? So Chisda Inachanami. I hold that Tzorchei Shabbos Nasim B'Yom Tov Min HaTorah. Torah never forbade cooking from Yom Tov to Shabbos because it's one Kedusha. One long Kedusha.
Yom HaRichter.
It's like a Yom HaRichter. It's not, you don't need Yom HaRichter. It's, even though it's 2 days, but it's the same Kedusha. It's all one Kedusha. It's only when you meichin Yom Tov L'Chayil. Shabbos and Yom Tov is one Kedusha. First day Yom Tov, the second day Yom Tov, I'm filling this in. It doesn't say good. It's Yom Tov to Chayil because the second day Yom Tov is really Chayil Min HaTorah. However, from Yom Tov to Shabbos, it's both Min HaTorah Kedusha, Kedusha, Kedusha Shabbos. They're both called Shabbosain, the Torah. It's one concept. So Min HaTorah you're allowed to make. However, Chacham instead of Chisda were concerned that people will feel uncomfortable. People will feel if I can cook from Yom Tov to Chayil, and to Shabbos, they might feel I can cook from Yom Tov to Chayil. They won't know the concept of it's one Kedusha, and they'll think, Yom Tov L'Chayil I can also cook. So therefore, they Chachamim made a Erev Tashilin to make a heker a recognition that really it's also to cook from Yom Tov to Choil, and it's after Shabbos where we're allowing it. By the way, according to Rabbah, the concept of Erev Tashilin has nothing to do with Hachana. The concept, according to Reb Chisda, Erev Tashilin is to help you remove the Midrabanan Gezerah, that you might come to think you could do Hachana from Yom Tov to Choil. So therefore, Chazal made a hecker to show you that Yom Tov to Shabbos is different. So we do an Erev Tashilin, to bring out that only Yom Tov to Shabbos is in Mutter, not Yom Tov to Choil. But according to Rabbah, he never had the whole Shail in the Gemara, because Rabbah held to the concept of Hoyel. So Rabbah held it's Mun HaTorah Mutter. He didn't have to. So the reason for Erev Tashilin, according to Rabbah, is a separate inyan. It has nothing to do with the issue of Hachana. It has to do with the fact, there's two reasons mentioned in Gemara Be'ez and Achloikis, whether Chazal instituted it as a covet for Shabbos, or as a covet for Yom Tov. To make sure you have enough food for Yom Tov and Shabbos, has nothing to do with the Isser of Hachana. The separate concept, Erev Tashilin. According to Rav Chisda, it does have to do with the Isser of Hachana. Not the Issa Min HaTorah, because Min HaTorah you're allowed to, but it's to take away the Issa Midrabanan that you might come to seem like you can cook in the Chol, make a Heker Erev Tashilin. Rabbi holds it's nothing to do with Hachana, it's a separate concept, which we'll Mirz Hashem see soon inside. Okay, Rabbi say?
1 second. How come Erev Tashilin has
that's it with the Gemara, we're finished.
Has a mazel that everybody holds? A lot of other mitzvot, Machronim, not everybody holds. It becomes strong. Everybody.
This is a real halacha. My machronim today, a piece straight halacha. You don't have to do my machronim today. It's more of a minig and a Kabbalah thing, because the whole original reason was because they used to use a salt for their,
I know,
which was not.
You know what the Sfaradim, when they make my machronim, they say my machronim chova.
Right.
That's the word. My machronim.
They say it when
they. We said my machronim chova.
Right, so you have different ways of looking at my machronim. You could say, even though we don't have this melach sadoimis, this melach which can hurt the eyes, so we needed to wash the fingers. But even though the reason is no longer there, but the takana should still remain. You know, we have a lot of things in Torah we don't have, the reasons fall away. We still go with a candle for bedikas chametz. We also have the light on. We also use the flashlight. But what's the concept of the candle? A lot of things which the reason, making kiddush in shul, in the Ashkenazi shul, there's no reason for this anymore. We don't have guests. We spoke this. After Shia we'll talk about it. So Lamaisa. A lot of inyanim. The reason we still have certain takonis, Alpi halacha, the reason why we can't mevatel certain takonis is because even if the reason went away, if the reason itself wasn't an intrinsical aspect of the takana, so the takana can remain until we have a bezdin that's gadol mimena v'mina v'chachma, it's greater than the previous Sanhedrin, and we repeal that takana. And according to Kabbalah and Chassidus, the Vilna Gaon explains, and other Kabbalah explain that Chazal, there's other reasons why Chachamim instituted something. We only know what it says in the Gemara, the reason. There's a lot of deep secrets and other reasons why we do things. You think it's just a thing we do down here, it's pulling strings up there. So when you know up there why you do it, then you know how you can mevatel it. But you can't stand me mevatel something because there's other sides of why we do it. I'll tell you a short vart before we go. We have to go further, going off on the side. But the Tzemach Tzedek wrote for himself, was a very prolific writer, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, a grandson of the Baal Tanya. He has a Chuvas and Chidushim and tremendous works of Chassidus. He wrote unbelievable amounts. Now, recently they were publishing some things from him, some small lines that he jotted down for himself, different short verter, that no one bothered all the years to print them because they were short little. So there was a few years ago they published something, it was very interesting. It said there a vart like this. He explains, why can we not, why when the reason for something goes away, do we not say it's automatically bottled? And you need dafke to have another Sanhedrin to come and to repeal the takana. So he explains like this. Every mitzvah has in it every takana that Chacham made has in it two aspects. It has in it it's Chachmas Hashem, There's a certain chachma behind it. A chachma why Chazal made it, because based on certain reasons. And then there's the Ratzon Hashem. This is the will of Hashem. There's the chachma and the Ratzon. He says, Chazal originally, the Sanhedrin, they had different reasons why they made the takana. They had the chachma, different chachma. And then they concluded, they had the Sanhedrin concluded, they stood up and they stood for a vote, and they decided that this is what we should be doing. This is the gezerah or the takana, the decree which we should do. Now, as soon as they made that decision, that the halacha in Torah is achrei rabbim lahatis, you have to follow the rabbim, right? Hashem loy Torah loy b'shamayim, it's given over to the chacham. So the chacham decided to Roiv, the Sanhedrin, majority of the Sanhedrin decided this is a takana which is Roiv to make based on chachma, different reasons of chachma. It becomes a takana. As soon as they decide that that's appropriate takana to enact, automatically it's not just something based on chachma. It's also based on the Ratzon Hashem, because Hashem says whatever the chachamim want, that Ratzon is my Ratzon. The Torah says Achi Ram Lahatis. So now this is my Ratzon. You're doing this, you're doing what Hashem wants. Loisasuru Miyaminu Smoil Asheyigidu, you have to listen to the chachamim. This is what Hashem wants. So now we have invested in this takana two things. It's the chachma and the Ratzon. The Ratzon of Hashem. When the taka later on in history, at a certain, the reason for it falls away, the reason for the takana, so the chachma fell away, but the Ratzon Hashem is still in that act. Hashem wanted you to do that act. The only way we can remove the Ratzon Hashem, that it should no longer be the Ratzon Hashem, we have another Sanhedrin that will get up and will repeal. We'll make a roiv, a majority the other direction. The majority the other direction against the takana, to mevatel the takana gzeira. So then again, achirabim lahatis, that's the way Hashem set it up. So now Hashem says that's not my ratzon anymore. If that's not what the chachamim's ratzon is, that's not my ratzon anymore. So eina chanami, now we don't have the chachma, but we have the ratzon. It's a little different. The Gra was saying of art that there is deeper chachma. You know, there's what we know, and there's things could be Kabbalah. Deeper, he was saying a different word. This chachma and this ratzon, it's still the ratzon Hashem. Not all takanas are like that. Some takanas, it's clear that they become batul in the mashal today, and some of them are subject to machlokes about it. Some of them are clear. The mashal, leaving out water unattended. Mayim megulim, revealed water. Chazal asa, because a snake could have drinking from it and put in its poison. Now we don't have snakes in our areas, so we're not makbid on it. You should know there is certain nachroid in the hell that even today you have to be makbid. There are certain yirei shemayim that even today they won't drink even mayim begolem. The reason doesn't apply in our community. They taina that takana remains. You can't be mavatal. So it's a machlokes whether this takana became batal or not. Is it the reason intrinsical part of the takana or not? So every takana has to be judged for itself. Like Kiddush in the shul is a machlokes about it in Shulchan Aruch. Making Kiddush Friday night in the shul was originally enacted because of guests. We don't have guests in our shul anymore, at least for most shuls. So the reason fell away. Should we do this or not? So the Sephardim and a lot of most of the Oilam hold that no. A lot of Rishonim said there's no reason to keep this anymore. However, the Ashkenazim held that there's an inyan to keep it. And therefore the minig Ashkenaz was you continue the minig. Yishal Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, he paskins, and if a place does not have the minig, you don't have to do it. But a place has the minig to do it, you should not be mavatel, because really the ikra halacha is like that shita that you should make kiddush in shul. So you don't have to recreate the minig if the minig of a certain kehillah stopped already to do it. We don't have to come here Friday night at Beis Menachem and say they're not making kiddush in shul and they put them in chayrim. But if we're going to go to another shul here in Flat, Young Gizville down the block, across the street, that they're making kiddush, the Alter Rebbe himself said, don't stop them. They're doing the right thing, because the ikar halacha is you cannot be mavatal that takana the way it was set up, even though it was based on guests. So it's every takon itself you have to look into.
Wow, you was
This thing you make, the distinction you make between Ratzon and Chachma, I think that's imputing it has been it's imputing lack of Chachma to God. That you're saying that when God made it, that when the Chachamim made a certain thing, made a certain halakha, so it had Chachma to it, and it's also the Ratzon Hashem. But now that the Chachma is gone, so you just say that this is Ratzon without Chachma. I mean, the God
Ratzon is higher than Chachma.
Without Chachma, and even with the Chachamim.
Ratzon is higher than Chachma. Let's say when the Malachim came to Hashem and said, when that by the Asara Erugi Malchus, how can you do this to Rabbi Akiva? How can you allow the Rishayim to tear off his skin? And they said Zu T'Torah v'Zu S'chayra. They were right, the Malachim, right? What did Hashem tell them? The Medrash says, Hashem said, Shesoik, be quiet, Kach Ola B'Rtzayni. There's something deeper. This Chachma is a creation. Seichel is created. Logic is a creation. There wasn't always logic. Logic is created. We as human beings can't fathom anything higher than logic. But things don't have to make sense. A lot of the mitzvahs we do don't make any sense. They're chukah. They don't have. It's not pshat. We dig deeper and deeper. Even there are things that there could be no reason at all. There's a lashon that says in Sfarim, if mitzvah would have been that our mitzvah would have been instead of tefillin we have to chop wood, that's a mitzvah. What Hashem decides is a mitzvah. That's how we connect to Him. Of course, there is chachma. There is chachma of Kabbalah. There's deep secrets of the Torah. There's much more chachma. Even when we say a chukah, by the way, a chukah and a choik doesn't mean there's no tam. Every mitzvah has a tam. Just choik, the tam doesn't come down to us. There's a deeper reason. But besides for the reason, there's the Ratzon Hashem. For example, stealing. We don't not steal because it doesn't make sense to steal, not only because it doesn't make sense, that we don't need the Torah to tell us it doesn't make sense to steal. We also don't steal because Hashem told us not to steal. It's a much deeper reason. Logic only goes to a certain place. Logically doesn't make sense to steal. But maybe certain instances where the logic could say, I'm poor, I don't have any money, and I'm starving, and this guy has money, so let me go steal, right? So, we did keep the mitzvahs because it's Ratzon Hashem.
But even this was
And the Seichel. We have to know both. There's the Ratzon and there's the Seichel.
But even this was sown. It's a higher chachma that we
No. There's no chachma.
But just to say that it's a blank what's sown, that's an insult to God.
Why is it an insult? To say that he's chachma is an insult. He's not a creation. He created chachma. He created the spheres. He created the world. Anything we attribute to him is an insult to him, because to say he's a chacham, he created chachma. So what's so great about chachma? It's all creation.
No, think of the original divine chachma.
After he created the chachma, but the creator, he's not limited by chachma. I don't want to get into the discussion, but the Maharal already wrote very, very strongly against the Rambam, and the Rambam wrote, "Hu amadu b'chachma, hu amadu hidei v'yadua." The Maharal in Prague wrote very at length that Chas v'Sholom to say Hashem is Seichel. Hashem is not Mada. He's not Seichel. He is whatever we're going to say he is has nothing to do with Seichel. He has no description at all. He's not HaSeichel Baruch Hu. He's HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
He's everything.
He's everything and he's nothing. He's nothing of the world. He's not limited to anything that we have.
He's not limited. That's what you know what in it describes it. His chachma is chachma is
that what it says Antu Chachma v'lei b'chachma yim pasach alayo is a lower level. Well, there is chachma and there's higher levels of chachma that we don't understand. There's deeper levels of chachma. Chachma Hashem goes higher and higher. But even in chachma there's something called keser, higher than chachma. Keser is ratzon. Keser is a much higher level. In Pasach it doesn't talk about the level of Keser. But the level of Keser, of Atik, what it says in Kabbalah, is much higher than Chachma. And there's no Chachma there at all. It's the inyan of Keser. This is the deep Ratzon Hashem. When a father loves a son, It's the deepest thing in the world, and it's not based on seichel. There's no logic there. His son could be totally different than him and do everything wrong. At the end of the day, it bothers him what his son is doing, and he cares about it. He can't cut himself away. A parent and a child can't cut away, no matter if they don't talk to each other the rest of their life, but they're thinking about each other. It bothers them, and this doesn't make sense. Al pi seichel. It's not a relationship based on seichel. It's a relationship based on essence with the essence. The mitzvahs of Hashem have there's different layers. There's chachma, there's ratzon, and you know what? There's even levels higher than ratzon. The mitzvahs, there's even madregas higher than ratzon, because this is Hashem Himself. He's put Himself into it.
Rabbi, while you were saying from the Son of Tzedek, Ratzon Chachma, I suddenly thought of something. Mamish this minute, I thought, in Megillas Esther, Nechtam b'Tabas HaMelech, you can't
take back.
And that was Achashverosh, Shemal Pasul Adam. He said, it's a good
dogma.
Concept that it's
a good mashal.
So he only threw another Sanhedrin.
I thought it was a Gavaldik. It's 4 lines he wrote it. Very big kitzah to himself. I think most people didn't really look at it, but I took a look. I said, this is a Gavaldik art. This is 4 lines here.
There's also another possibility which I would suggest, that sometimes it could be that Chazal had certain reasons with the Pechus HaNefesh, that they made a certain thing for another reason.
And the Chanani.
Because
that's the Barta Gros saying.
They came out the whole thing that they want to change certain Rabbanim with ladies, with the Gadol and all this stuff, right? So a certain person has to be Sharon Mitzvahs, this professor at Harvard, whatever. He wrote an essay, and he said, Chazal knew a secret with this initial white. He grew up there was a certain Protestant sect, I don't know, 100 years ago in America, and they instituted the ladies should have a chelik, and the whole thing fell apart because men didn't want that. In other words, what I'm trying to say is there could be a time that's like an umdana. Chazal had umdanas on human nature.
There's so many reasons. There has to be. There could be reasons. There could be reasons on all levels. We could be reasons on all levels. On the human level, things that we don't fathom. On the Kabbalah level, secrets, all different types of reasons.
What happened what counts? These are concepts like that. I think like
well, that is part of the mechanism of Torah that it's bottled. So the Ratzon changed. The Ratzon
wasn't Ratzon like that, and now there was.
The Ratzon, the whole concept that the Torah is dependent on us is a very. What is Torah mitzvahs? It's what Hashem wants, but it's totally in us. We decide, right? The whole concept is difficult to understand. There's a lot of svarim about it, and they have to understand what does it mean. Torah leva shemaimi. So it seems arbitrary because the Chachamim decided this. Does Hashem want something else really, and we're just doing something else? There's a lot of discussions about this, and there's a lot what to read about it. If you want to read a little bit, is in English. There's a book on the 13 principles of faith. Yukim Ikrim, printed by Koil Menachem, the same publisher of the Gutnik Chumash. Has a similar thing on 2 of the Ikrim. One is on Torah Min HaShamayim and Nevuah. It's on the 2 Ikrim of the Rambam, the Torah Min HaShamayim. It's in one book, 2 Ikrim, 2 principles. The one Torah Min HaShamayim has a lot of these discussions there. What does it mean Torah Min HaShamayim? If we're deciding what exactly happens and how does this all work, it's spoken about there. There's also a Sefer coming out now in Hebrew by Rabbi Yoel Khan, all about the concept of these concepts also. Torah, what's Pshat, that we decide what Hashem's Ratzon is, all these different ideas. Okay, Rabbi say we got a long tangent over here. So Lamai said
there was another thing that not every halakha in the Talmud was nizar by the Sanhedrin. So you see there will be the Sanhedrin.
You have to see. You have to see each one for itself. You have to see. Everything is a discussion for it. Some things are Eina Chanami are bottled. Some things we don't do today. Some things we do, and some things are subject to machlekes. So Kiddush and Shul is an example of something which up till today is a machlokes about it, and Mayi Megulin is also, there are some people that are still makbid on it, although most of the oilam is not makbid on it, but if you leave water open and unattended, there are people,
By the way,
the Gra and the Shalah HaKadosh held, you should not drink it.
It was on the news a few days ago, Longhorn Steakhouse in Virginia. Copperhead snake. A lady walked into the door in the lobby. Copperhead snake was a beast. It's a venomous snake, but she survived.
She didn't have it was a snake.
No, by the time that she realized they stepped on it, it was too late. She got bit 3 times.
Wow.
Taken to the hospital. She survived. It was on the news.
Okay.
If it's open onion and all
I'm saying, you say there's no snakes, there are snakes.
Same thing.
But it's different. This we do till today. Everyone does. Not to leave
I know,
on.
but what
Unless you leave on the.
if you cover it, it's okay?
No, but you should leave a little of the stem, the peel. You leave part of the peel on it. Okay. Or you mix it into a salad or something on a dish. It's mixed
No,
into
it
something.
was the cut that actually when it for the next day.
Yeah, so that we don't. That we don't. Put it with the peel. Leave it with the peel on. Okay. Now, so let's take a look inside. So we got Kula Rabbi Chisda. We spoke about this last week. We got to move on. Let's look on the next page. Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch Siman Tov Kuf Gimel. Kol maleches oichel nefesh lehut b'yantiv v'lekein oisois l'kedem l'hanas b'abayoyim. The Torah permits oichel nefesh only means if you're doing it to have enough from it today.
It's okay.
Hava aser lefeis v'lishchet l'vashel b'yantiv asher yoichel b'choyim. If afa bishal le'asa shar malachis oichel nefesh b'yantiv tzarech macher afilu Shabbos shechalis after yantiv. So like him in HaTorah. It's like Rabbah because Rav Chisda held that no, min HaTorah you're allowed to cook from Yom Tov to Shabbos. But here he says you like him in HaTorah even from Yom Tov to Shabbos. That's like Rabbah who held that it's min HaTorah also. However, in Sif Beis he says it's only when you don't have the concept of Hoyel. But he had the concept of Hoyel, it's not also min HaTorah. When is it talking about? Also malacha b'Yom Tov samach chashecha. Be'inyin she efsher klal lehanas ben b'Yom Tov atzmei in a way that's impossible to have enough from it today. After Lahanas ben B'Yom Tov Atzmai, after B'Sheni writes Lahanas ben B'Yom Tov, Ve'ino Iso Isa El L'Tzoyra Choyl, Hareza Potter Min HaToyra. After B'Sheni Malachat Tzlicha Le'Kal B'Yom Tov, Shakar Acham Kol Suda, so you already ate your whole soda. Meaning not only do you not plan on eating it, it's not even you ate everything, not even shaykhis, potentially you would need it, but we have a different potential. Maybe the guests are going to come. Hayil hayim is damale orchim. Shala achlu adayin hayoyim meisim malach is tzricha lehem. This malach will be necessary for them. But Yumutlai says that you will be allowed to cook for them. Im keiner malach is unikras malachas oichel nefesh has a status of oichel nefesh. Va'ashein le orchim and isim in HaTorah la'asoisa. In HaTorah there's no isim. Right. Kol mokim chacham masura chacham aserit. Now the reason why Chacham asked it is why? Why should Chacham ask it? What's the problem? If you have a hoyel, what could be the issue? Chacham asked it because of tircha. Chazal did not want we should matriach on Yom Tov the day you're supposed to be busy with Yom Tov. Not busy thinking about what am I eating tonight and what am I eating tomorrow. Preparing your next day meals. It's not Yom Tov. Chazal did not want matriach on Yom Tov. Tircha. Someone who does so, he doesn't get malchus, but he gets rabbinical lashes, makas and makas.
But ochel is not on Yom Tov?
For the next day, but you're doing it for the next day. Only, that's tircha.
Only the Yom Tov.
Yeah. So midrabanan it's also. Now Siv Gimel explains, not only when you cook and you bake. Afilu davar she'ein bei melacha klal. Even if it's something which is no malacha, you're not doing any malacha. In the diach kelim, washing dishes, you're not doing any malach over here. Even if it's for the Shabbos after Yom Tif, it's also to do it. Over there you have Erev Tashum, so if you did Erev Tashum, you can do that Dachas Kelim. So too it's Aser, not only for Choyl, but Tzorech Yom Tif Sheni. You can't do it for the second day Yom Tif Begoyla in exile. Afilu tzorech Yom Tov Sheni Shel Rosh Hashanah, shein kedusha achas v'neshamu kimecha olav lahachmir. ולא להקה שאנו בקיאים בחודש on a yoyim shemechel kodesh min hatoyim shenichel min hatoyim. Even Rosh Hashanah, which for certain aspects we consider like one long day, it's only l'chumra. But l'kuli and alabi meikul, you have to treat the second day of Rosh Hashanah like choil. V'nimsa meichem yantiv l'choil. So someone prepares from one day yom to the second day yom tiv, it's really a weekday. Min hatoyim it's only one day. Torah doesn't say there's 2 days yom tiv. Rosh Hashanah is also min hatoyim one day. You're appearing from one day yom to the next, you're appearing yom tiv l'choil. It's an issa min hatoyim. A very common thing, you're going to eat by someome's house the second night. You want to bring the bottle of wine. You can't bring the bottle of wine till it's nightfall. You're carrying it from the one day to the next day. You're being meichin miyontav l'choil. You're not doing a malacha, so it could be it's not minat Torah aser, but it's sure aser midrabanan because you're doing hachana. You're being meichin for l'choil.
A lot of people make this mistake.
A lot of people make this mistake. V'chein lo yichapes b'sefer Torah b'yom Torishim ha'shetzorach l'ktzvat ha'sheni. So too, the Gabbai is not allowed to prepare the Sefer Torah from one day Yom Tov to the next day, or Shabbos Shachar Yom Tov, even the second day Rosh Hashanah, second day Yom Tov for the next day. Can't prepare. Av b'shini erev tashil, even he put an erev tashil. She'ein eruv tashil matil tikun tzarich in Shabbos. The erev tashil only permits things associated with the Suda. The wine, it permits you to take the wine from the second day Yom Tov for Shabbos, because the wine is Suda. One day Yom Tov, the next day Yom Tov, you can't, we're not permitted, there's no way of Tashil. This could be only Midrabanan also. It's not clear, but it seems to me that, it seems from Siv Gimel, the Lashon, I'm not saying this for sure, but it seems that these, if it's a malacha that you're doing like bishul, baking, cooking, shchita, these are malachas. These are malachas on Shabbos, you'll be chayiv these malachas. So when you do that type of hachana for the second day Yom Tov or for Shabbos, then it's an issa min haTorah. But if it's a hachana that's not associated with malacha, like he says in Siv Gimel, he starts to add in, like washing dishes, or bringing the wine, or preparing the Sefer Torah, I don't know if that's min haTorah. But it's still asr either way. It's still asr.
Is there any way to do something one day to the next day?
Yes, there is certain methods how to do it. There is.
I don't understand the shita.
There is certain methods. But before we go to those methods, let's... Now, no. Hoyle helps in that Torah. The Shal Midrabanan. By the way, all of these issues are anyways not awesome in Torah because you have the concept of Hoyle. Lamashal, the Sefer Torah, it's ready for today. You know, you can learn from it today. It's not. It can't be a Torah.
It's not a malach on its own. That makes it the Rabbanan.
It's probably l'chora, and also you have the concept of Hoyle because you could say potentially I might need the dishes today, or I might need the wine today. So you have the concept of Hoyle also. Even without that, in fact, is a malacha. L'chora, you have the potential. But still, it's also midrabban. Now, there is certain ways how you can go about cooking food for the night meal if you need to cook the night meal. I'll just give you one example. One is allowed to cook for the night meal in the morning before the morning Suda. Let's say first day Rosh Hashanah. You decided the first night you invited a lot of guests. You said that you saw people in the shul. You have extra guests coming. You're going to eat an extra big soup, extra lot of meat. So the next morning, before the meal, before you start your day meal, you're allowed to put up a pot on the fire, and you're allowed to you're allowed in your mind putting up the entire pot for tonight. Not for today, it's for tonight. Putting up a whole pot of meat for tonight, a whole pot of water for tonight. Well, I want to put up a pot of water, I want to have hot water, hot tea for tonight. I invited all my friends over for tea. However, you're now allowed two things, two conditions. It has to be in one pot, can't be two separate pots, one pot, and you have in mind that you're going to drink 1 cup, or use 1 cup today. You're going to use 1 cup or eat 1 piece of meat today, and you'll be allowed to do it today. How are you now allowed to say it with your mouth? It's a certain shtick, it's called harama. You're allowed to make a shtick, Chazal allowed you to make a harama as long as you don't say with your mouth that this is for tonight. You don't say, you put it up, and however you have to have part of it, you have to eat it today. Even if you didn't really want to eat that meat, even if you weren't planning l'chatchila to eat the meat, or have that extra tea today, but you have to make sure to have a piece of meat or some tea, you actually have to do it. If you actually have a cup of tea from it, or take a piece of meat from the meat pot, and you don't say it with your mouth, you're allowed to put it up before the Suda Shachris. Before your day meal, so if you know all the day, before the day meal, it's all in one pot. You have it. You don't say it with your mouth, peh, and you have to take something from it for today. There's another heter also.
Three criteria.
Yeah, there's another.
If I believe that I make it for today, but I have left over.
Exactly.
Stay for tonight.
Because Hayoy said it's one act, and there's no
say
way
it.
to say which piece of meat is for today, which piece is for tomorrow. Which piece of water today, tomorrow, meat for
You
today.
don't have to serve that for lunch. You just have to take a piece of meat anytime during the day.
Exactly. That day before Shkia. That day before Shkia. Yeah, it has to be before the Suda. The reason why it has to be before the Suda is because then at least it seems like
So
you might for today. But once you might need it sometime today. If it's after your meal,
it's going to be counteracted.
it's going to be so clear harama because you ate your whole. That itself is the biggest harama because everyone sees you ate your full meal. What are you putting a whole pot of meat for? For the Suda Shachris, okay, maybe you're going to be hungry a little.
It's confusing. You don't know what the heck is going on.
So, yes, in certain situations, you can do things if you know the halachas, or if you don't remember the halachas, go knock on the door of a Rav and ask someone how you do it. There is ways how you can do it. There's other ways too. There's another way to do it is, you can even put up a pot of food. Let's say you're putting up a pot of food for today. A pot of meat for today. And you now realize you need meat for tonight, extra meat for tonight. You can add to that pot. Add to that pot, which you're actually planning to eat today. It's not a shtick. You actually need that food for today. You can add later on, even though it's on the fire, and you're adding. The first case is all in one shot. So the cup of tea that I'm going to drink today, or the piece of meat I'm going to eat, is all in one pot. You're doing the malacha in one action, so one pot of the fire in one shot. However, here the chiddush is, the pot's already on the fire, the meat you're eating today. The meat that I'm adding, I'm not going to eat one piece today. I'm only going to eat the pieces of meat that I put in there originally. So I did two acts.
How do you know?
I made a second act, which is dafke for tonight. You're allowed to do it as long as that, if you're putting in a food, the second food in some way helps mashbiach the original food. Let's say if you have a piece of meat, by having a few more pieces helps make it juicier, right? So then there's a certain type of tzoyrich for today. Tzoyrich for today. Even I'm not going to have that meat, but it gives up like a shevach tam. So that's why the dugman shulchan aruch is by meat, not by water. By water, adding more water. Let's say you have a hot water urn. People have to plug in the urn into the wall, right? And now you realize, it went by the first day Yom Tif, and you need more water for the next day. So people like to pour in water. More, that's a problematic. Because the water that you're adding in is not mashbiach the original water. It's not making the original water better. And that water you're pouring in is only for tonight. If the water you're pouring in now is also, some of it is needed even for today, because you don't have enough water in the pot, so you can tie into that, some of it I need today. So I'm doing one act, one. Let's say I have in the urn 3 cups worth of tea, and I need today 4 cups, but I also need for tonight. So I could I fill up my urn to the top. Part of that water, one cup of that water is for today, and the rest is all for tonight. Not a problem. As long as you don't say b'dibur, you don't say the pad's doing it for tonight.
Now in that case,
So there's 2 cases where Chazal were matter.
The first case.
In that case, where you're adding on to the thing from today, do you also have to drink a glass of tea, like in that first case, where it's all in one?
Yeah, it's the same concept because it's the same. It's really the same concept. It sounds different.
Yeah.
It sounds different, but it's the same concept because I'm doing it bavas achas. The second heter is based on not bavas achas. I'm putting on my meat for today. my chicken for today.
All you have to
Later on, I'm putting in some more meat, adding in more meat. So l'chora, it's problematic because all the meat that I'm adding is 100% for tonight. It's not like the first heter when I'm putting a pot of water on or a pot of meat on it, where it's I'm gonna have part of that today. I'm thinking in my mind I'm gonna eat one piece today. The second case, I'm putting in the extra meat is fully only for tonight. I'm only gonna be eating from the original meat that I put in. Obviously, we know what's different, as long as it has a shevach to it. So, if a person can tie in that adding more chicken or more meat can give it a juicier taste.
So in that case, he doesn't have to eat.
So the second case does not have to be vasachas. It's not
He
vasachas.
doesn't have to eat some meat because it's mashpia.
Exactly.
Sorry,
It's a sorry to
A better piece of meat. Every meat.
But he has to eat from the original meat because that's what he was planning.
But the water.
It's not harama. In that
water you
second
can't
case, it's not
say
harama.
that.
It's not a shtick.
Yeah.
In the second case, he actually is eating some of that meat.
Making the
He really
netzulah.
is making the netzulah.
Okay.
He's just adding. But he's allowed to add. Well, the heter is the second case is a bigger chiddush because I'm doing a second action only the tzarech halayla. But the chiddush why it helps is because the svar why it helps because it's mashbiach the meichel.
Right. But
The first case is that I'm not being mashbiach the meichel, but I'm doing it b'vasachas with a cup in there.
1 second.
I'm being ma'ir that I need for today.
So could you be mechalik and
Because of the
say
plate
tea
dinim,
is
the balabastas generally don't do this because it's a little complicated. But if you know the halachis and you ask someone what to do b'shas ma'aser, so you know what to do.
But I'm saying,
Is it
could
possible
we be
to do it?
mechalik and say?
By the way, you don't need to be mashpiach. The second heter you don't need to do before shachris dafkin
The first.
because you need some of the meat. Let's say you're planning on something later. They're two different heterim.
You mentioned the water. Is it possible to do the water in your first scenario?
No, the water you only could do in the first scenario where you put one full pot of water on the fire.
And you're going to drink it before. Has to be before
Not-
Shabbos.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just has to be
There's
before.
no shevach, so you have no heter to do it.
Maybe it has to be before davening because that's when the water is going to get used.
No, it's okay before shachris because maybe he needs tea after the meal.
Oh.
Doesn't look like a haram already.
Doesn't.
No, it's
So you
okay.
can do it the water. The water is fine. You said the water is.
The water you can put up the whole main problem with the water is that how do most people heat up water is they have a hot water plugged into the wall. Some people have put a teapot on the fire on Yom Tov. You can put a pot on the fire of water, right? But some people they usually have today urns. So if you have a hot water urn, there's usually water in there, but you want to fill in more water for the next day. How do you go about doing that? That's not so easy because there, it's not mashbiach, so you don't have the second heter that you're allowed to do
So
something.
you already said it's not good. It's not good.
It's not okay. The only way you can come up with a
If
chetimtze,
it's for Shabbos.
yeah, and you put up a pot, put up a whole pot, one act. The first heter is doing a bevas achas with something which you're gonna eat today.
It's only if you start from scratch. The first scenario.
Yeah, the first scenario
You have to
is
start from scratch.
I put up a whole pot of meat. It's a big heter in a way. Each one has a
Don't start from
chiddush.
scratch. You can't.
The first heter is I'm putting up an entire pot of water, entire pot of meat. It's only for tonight. In my mind, I know it's all for tonight. However, I make up right now that I'm gonna eat one of those pieces of meat or take a drink of that water today.
Now, how does this remember? It seems speaking of a chiddush.
The part is that I never said with my mouth that I'm doing this for tonight. It's only my machshava. And I'm actually gonna take something from it today. So it comes out that what did I do extra for the food tonight? Anyways, it's all one malacha. I put it at one shot. I picked it up. What's the malacha? Cooking it on the fire. I put it on the fire and one together with the chaylik I need today. So I just added to. I didn't do an extra malacha. I just did more meat, more water. But the malacha was the same malacha. It's not like I cooked twice. You cooked only one time. Instead of having one piece in the pot, you have 20 pieces. Instead of cooking 1 cup of water, I cooked 20 cups of water.
What can you do with an existing dish?
The problem with existing dishes, let's say water that you have already in the urn. I have hot water in the urn today. I do have some hot water for tomorrow. It's not
Then
enough
the
for
aroma is
tomorrow.
not going to be clear.
The problem is that all the water that I'm adding is not for today. When you're going to drink from it a cup today, which cup are you drinking? You're drinking from the water that you had enough water for today. You did have enough water for today.
It doesn't help.
It's problematic. Someone asked me, could you empty out the water of the hot water urn, let out all the water, so then you could tell I have no more water. and then you can pour in as much water as you want, fill up to the top.
If it's Shabbos, you can do it.
Before Shabbos, and pour in all the water you want, and then take one drink today. So am I allowed to be a dayim, take out all the water, even though potentially I really have water for today? Places, it could be you're allowed to do that, I don't know. Could be you could. Could be you could. I don't know the sugi well enough to say that. It could be you can let it all run out. A few minutes later, you say, look, I have no water.
Because I want fresh water. It's sitting here.
Could be.
I want fresh water.
Then your rum is being disturbed a little bit because something's going on this 2 minutes.
Maybe you could do it. I don't know. You have to ask a shayla. Could be.
Allowed to fill up the water?
Only what I would tell you is, in a case where the water which you have in the hot water urn is not enough for today itself. Well, let's say that there is 3 cups of water in there, and you want to drink. You could pour in a whole pot of water, but drink 4 cups today. If you will drink 4 cups of tea today, so then one of the cups you're drinking is from the new water you added. So you did it. That you do it before Shacharis. It's the same head as the first head.
said before lunch. I didn't say before.
So the Shacharis is lunch before the Shacharis. There's always so the shalishas on Yom Tov. So the Shacharis means the lunch before the lunch meal. 1 o'clock before you start your meal, you could do this. You could do the shtick. If you have in the hot water in 3 cups, or you're going to serve after the meal a few cups, if one of those cups is going to come, an extra cup that I need from the new water, so you have the same het as the first het, I'm pouring it all in one shot, and one of the cups I need for today. Yeah. This sugi is ba'etzim in the next sifim after this sif gimel, the next 10 sifim, and I'll tell you about these 2 atayim.
A goy allowed to fill up water?
For you on Yom Tov? For the next day?
Or something.
It's almost finished. She's working for you.
Not so
You
much.
see no
For the next
water.
day.
No, but you drink today a little bit and tomorrow the rest.
Well, then you could do it in a multiple
Yourself.
way, but goy is not so fast.
Right. Yeah, that oil.
I think we should continue this next week, but the oil wants to continue.
Next week instead of Yom Kippur.
No, Monday. Monday's on the Yom Kippur is Shabbos.
Erev Sukkot.
Wednesday is Erev Sukkot. Wednesday and Erev Sukkot. The oil might be busy with the sukkah. But yeah, interesting halachas. Listen, it's
We had a question. You have to eat the Deus of Shilin on Shabbos, right?
yeah. You should. It's a minig. If you don't eat, it's still okay.
Somebody walks from one night to here on Shabbos, and he said, "What you do?" I forgot to eat. I eat it.
I have to walk right back.
No, so he said, "What's the Shabbos?" And you do melach malki, eat it.
It's only a minig to eat it. You don't have to eat Eid Hashem.
Something that
It just has to still exist.
Something to do kedusha.
You should do another mitzvah with it, but you don't have to eat it. I'll be Allah. It's good even if you don't eat it.
In other words, filling the possibility. Create the possibility. That's the
Yeah, if for some reason a person decided he didn't want to eat all his food, he prepared for Shabbos. He prepared a Yom Tov food for Shabbos, prepared a whole cook, he has to eat every piece. Whatever you can eat, you know, if you don't want to eat it, you thought you could eat it, you don't eat it. It's not. The Inyan Eretz Hashem was the show where I started my achonis in the choil. I'm showing I started in the choil. Next week Hashem will talk about the 2 reasons Machloikis Chazal, which is brought in Shulchan Aruch. It's not gepaskin clear which way, of why there is the concept of Eretz Hashem. And we'll get more into it in Eretz Hashem. So hopefully before Sukkot, which we need to know it twice, we'll know the dinim again of Eretz Hashem.
Last year I was invited to
Shavuos, I don't think you have Shavuos after 2 days, right? Shavuos you have a lot of times. You have Shabbos on Shavuos.
this year Pesach
Friday Shabbos.
Shabbos Sunday. Pesach is Shabbos Sunday. Friday night is the first Sunday.
Shabbos to Shabbos. Like it was 2 years ago and 3 years ago. This year you don't have to make so many sukkahs this year. It's a cheaper in Kippur.
The best. No, that should be Yom Kippur. But you still have to cook Friday, a whole meal with Yom Tov.
Yeah, every year you have to, but
You have to eat, I think, before Chatzot size.
two meals every Yom Kippur.
Before Chatzot.
Why do you have to eat before Chatzot?
You're not supposed to eat the Shabbos.
No, not this year. That's only when you have a suda.
It's only this year you're allowed to.
That's only when you have, that's only when you're having a suda that night, because you're not supposed to eat so much.
The reason why you're not.
This year you have to eat a lot. Every year you have to eat every Yom Kippur, you have to eat a lot of food. Whatever you eat in Yom Kippur, people eat 2 meals. The Olam has 2 meals. They have 1 meal earlier, Koydum Chatzos, and 1 meal closer to Shkia. 1 meal early in the day, 1 meal later. There were certain tzaddikim that they ate with only one hand.
All year long.
All year long. The Rebbe's father only ate with one hand the whole year.
Why?
It's not-
I think I bought something.
Only one hand. But came out of Yom Kippur, it's a mitzvah b'achilik to eat with 2 hands. How he ate the chicken weiß ich nicht, but
So you eat chicken.
nicht gegessen. Nicht gewinnt so viel chicken.
Didn't eat. I thought you were going to say some word for the Rebbe mother tonight.
We spoke about Rav Leivik, you see? So we spoke about the
Eishes Chaver Kechaver.
Eishes Chaver. The Rebbe's mother's yard site is tonight. So it was a Shabbos Shuvah that year. She was nifted Shabbos Shuvah.
Yes, what
And she had big schos. You can now go to the Rebbe's library if you want to go see the Lubavitch library. He has an exhibit now. It's a very nice exhibit. You go there, you can see it. If you're in Crown Heights ever, you'll pop in to the library next door to 770. You can go in there. It's just a $3 donation over there. You can go in. They give you a booklet and a video. You can go walk around, give you a self-guided tour. You can see from every single one of the Rebbes their Kisveyat Kodesh and their different kalim that they use, and it's on display.
Security guard.
Yeah, the security there.
Pressure.
Hope you're not going to take anything, but Lamaisa,
I mean, you know,
See the
down
No, you can't.
careful.
the door was probably won't open if you try to take anything.
You have the Baal Shem Tov.
So Lamaisa, I saw there the Zoyar. Rabbi Leivik, when Rebbe's father was in jail, he was sent to exile to a city, sent to Chile. Later on, after he left, he went to Amata, but he was sent far away to the city Chile. He was renting a room in a Goyish house. Somebody had to stay in the city for a few years. He was there for 4 years. That's the city. Some little farm in a little middle of nowhere, in a little village somewhere. He was not allowed to leave the city. Rabbi Tzimchana later came to be with him, to stay with there. So she brought with her a few svarim from the house. What could she take with her already? She took a Tanya, a Zoyer, a few svarim. And he didn't have any paper or pen there. He wanted to write Chidushim. He had all the time. He was a big makubal, and he wanted to write a lot. So he would write on the sides, on the margins of his Zoyer and his Tanya and his svarim. So now that he didn't have any ink, she went to prepare out of the leaves. She made the ink by herself. She made ink for him, and he would write on the margins. Now there was not a lot of space in the margins, so sometimes he would write, and he wouldn't have space, so he would go backwards. So he would go backwards pages, and he mamish filled up all the sides. And you can go see now in the library. They have one exhibit, one display case. It's for the father. You see, it's opened up to the Zoyer. It's opened up to one of the pages of the Zoyer. You can see the ink all over as he wrote in. He wrote all over his svarim. This is all what he wrote when he was in exile for a few years. When he was in his house, he wrote a lot more, but it's all lost. Even these svarim itself had to be smuggled out of Russia. To be smuggled out at different times. Some of it came out. The Rebbe's mother herself was scared to take it out. He was nifter already in 1944. She came out from Russia in 1947, and she gave it to different people. And during the years, it was smuggled out by different people out of Russia. There were even people in Russia who were too scared to hold on to it, to have this in there. The KGB comes and makes a search. They find this there. They send it into Siberia. Sending contraband. You're having here material. This. So they had to keep it, and they brought it. A lot of it was never found, and the Rebbe said he hopes one day it'll be found. But what was found was he had there's a sefer with Chidushim al Hashas, Svarim on Zoyer, and on Tanya. And there's also a sefer of letters of his. He wrote letters, and a lot of letters back and forth with the Rebbe. In Torah, in Kabbalah, and in Migla, things back and forth
So
with the
they
Rebbe.
were all published, these notes?
Whatever they have was published, yeah. But much more than was published. This is only a small amount, but a lot was published. At a later point, the Rebbe himself started to explain his father's Perushim in Zohar. Every week, he would speak about another Zohar that his father was Mefarish and explain what his father was saying, and give you on it. And they made a sefer now. They made 5 Svarim, which have the Rebbe's Biurim on his father's Torah. They have a separate 5 Svarim on the Rebbe's. It's all in Heichal Vashem. I'm sure you can find it all. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haveid in the Pashas.
The Rebbe was 5 years old. The Rebbe was talking to different neighbors, ladies. And each one said about her son. It's this. So she said, "My son, you can't even imagine. Bring me the newspaper from today." What? She said to her son, "Look at the first page." So what he says over there? Tell the neighbors, you hold it, and he read one word by word. 5-year-old. From what the girl. Today? That's